My son, Ren, said his imaginary friend's name while eating cereal. Milk dripped onto the table from his sagging spoon. Cartoons played too loud on the television, a frantic blur of color and noise. I barely looked up from my coffee, nodding absently as I checked my phone. He said his friend didn't like the basement. I asked why, my voice light and teasing. Ren didn't smile. He said because that's where you cried when it happened. I froze, the spoon I was holding halfway to the sink. My heart hammered against my ribs. I never told him about the basement. I never even let him near the door. The room suddenly smelled faintly of sour milk and old, rotting wood. My hands felt greasy, no matter how much I wiped them on my apron. The house felt tighter, as if the walls were leaning in and the air had thickened into something hard to swallow. I looked at the hallway, and it seemed miles long. The imaginary friend knew things, dates, times, secrets I had buried years ago with the door locked and the lights off. He knew about the copper tang in the air and the way the blood looked on the white tiles. It was as if the house was coughing up the memories I had tried so hard to swallow. He knew what I told the police back then. He knew the lies and the half-truths. Ren sat there, his cereal forgotten, and corrected me when I got the details wrong. He spoke with a gravity that didn't belong to a child, his voice flat and echoing. Ren began scratching at his arms while he listened to the air beside him. Thin red lines appeared, perfectly parallel, as if drawn by a ruler. He said his friend was showing him pictures. His eyes didn't look like his own anymore. They were glassy, reflecting things that weren't in the room. That night, I heard Ren talking in his room. I pressed my ear to the wood, trembling. Only one voice answered him. It sounded older than memory, a rasping sound like dry leaves on stone. It said my name, Vesper, the exact way it was said back then, with that same chilling inflection. I threw open the door, my breath hitching in my throat. Ren was fast asleep, his chest rising and falling rhythmically. But the closet door was standing wide open, a gaping black maw. The air spilling out of it smelled like iron and damp, cold concrete. Final report. According to archived police records, the victim's sibling died in the basement of the residence 12 years prior. The case was ruled accidental, a tragic fall in the dark. No suspect was ever charged. The file was closed, but the house never forgot. Neighbors later reported the sound of a child speaking alone at night, his voice drifting through the cracked windows. The house is currently unoccupied, its garden overgrown, and its windows dark. But sometimes, a light flickers where there is no bulb.